When you look at the political landscape in this country, you see two major sides. One side has common sense ideas that historically are successful for our society. Their ideas built the foundation of Western civilization, and they have continued to push Western civilization forward. That side stands for democracy, personal liberties, equal opportunity. They're common sense, morally, and economically correct concepts. The other side, they have completely gone off the spectrum. Of course, I'm talking about the rise of the neoconservatives in the Republican Party and their fascist ideas, and how they have gradually brainwashed tens of millions of people in this country to advocate for their nonsensical policies. For example, their ridiculous policies of drastically lowering taxes on the rich and allowing huge corporations to stash their money overseas and then giving billions in corporate welfare checks to those same companies, they have completely failed this country. People are working longer and longer hours for lower and lower wages, and they wonder, where the heck has all the money gone? Why am I busting my butt but I can barely provide for my family? Because, my friends, the top 1% since the Great Recession has garnered 58% of all the income gains, when the top 1% already owns more wealth than the bottom 90% of America. And the ultra right wing, as they drastically cut the tax rates for the wealthy and huge corporations, they were able to slash all the government programs and regulations that made the American middle class the envy of the world. But the far right's reign of terror goes far beyond that. Their stances on social policies have throughout history fueled regression of our society in terms of acceptance and tolerance. It was the right wing that refused to give the slaves their rights. It was the right wing that throughout the next century systematically oppressed blacks through Jim Crow laws. It's the right wing that has continued to discriminate against blacks to this day. It's the right wing that out of fear coerced gays into staying in the closet since the beginning of humanity. It's the right wing that once gays found the courage to come out, mocked and dehumanized gays. It's the right wing that denied gays their basic right to marriage until just a few freaking months ago, and is and will continue to discriminate against gays in any way possible. This ideology that is opposed to social progression and tolerance and acceptance and has fueled the destruction of the American middle class, this ideology, it is simply dangerous for our country and the world. Because when you talk about the far right wing and its foreign policy, it is truly frightening, and it's simply fascist ideals that are fueling it. The far right wing has dedicated themselves since World War II to directly and indirectly controlling all of the world's affairs. Dozens upon dozens of unnecessary counterproductive conflicts that destabilize entire regions of the world. But what do all of these foreign policy moves have in common? They keep the elites who got those far-right lunatics in office in the first place. They keep those elites happy. The military-industrial complex, oil and gas companies, mining companies, entire industries get rich off of the United States and its disastrous foreign policy moves. Oil companies and military companies, they bask in the destabilization of Iraq. Mineral companies, they feast in the lingering effects of Afghanistan. And these are only the most recent major conflicts. These conflicts wasted the American taxpayer trillions of dollars. Trillions of dollars. But these people, they want to kick and scream about the national debt, the bloated federal deficit. They want to cry about fiscal responsibility when their outrageous economic and foreign policy moves are the catalyst behind all of these issues. But how is this ideology fascist in its nature? Because in order to be accepted and not be demeaned and discriminated against by the far right in this country, you must be either white, straight, a male, and or Christian. Many of these filters the far right has adopted are inherently fascist. The Nazis ethnically cleansed its territories of anybody who wasn't Christian and who wasn't a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, straight European. The far right in America discriminates against anyone who is not Christian, who is not straight, who is not white, and who is not a man. This type of blatant discrimination and racism is very similar between these two political groups. And both the Nazis and the American far right take great pride in expanding their empire and controlling large swaths of the world to spread their twisted ideologies. And for the American far right, there's also that deadly profit motive involved. But in conclusion, I just wanted to make this video to at least shed some light on the deep-rooted flaws the ultra-far right in our country possesses. Their ideology is destructive for this nation and the world at large, and it's something that we must acknowledge. The Republican Party and the ideology it has adopted in these past few decades, it has created many issues for our society. And if you want to get serious about moving this country and the world forward, it is time to replace that ideology with some common freaking sense.